Hey, what is up guys? It's SilverSun here, and today I am finally going to be answering your guys' questions. Alright, so our first question comes in from Mr. Adrian Bowman, and he says, did you ever think that you'll make it to 1,000 subscribers, and are you going to make this channel based on Dragon Ball Z? Well, in all honesty, I didn't really think I thought, eventually I'd make it to 1,000 subscribers, but not this quickly, I mean, it's pretty exciting, to have gotten this far and whatnot. I mostly just started this up as a hobby. If you guys can tell by my first couple of videos, it was just me with my phone pretty much just filming stuff. And then eventually, I started doing a few reviews on a show that I liked, which was Gravity Falls and such. My channel was kind of centered around that, for the first couple of parts and whatnot. But in terms of the whole Dragon Ball Z, my channel being based around it, I mean, to be specific, he should probably have said Dragon Ball Super, but, kinda, sorta. It's the show that I'm watching currently right now. It's a pretty weekly show and whatnot, and I do play Xenoverse 2 and stuff like that, and that's obviously gonna have DLC and lots of stuff to do on that, later down the line and all that stuff, so I can't really help but not, go back to that topic or that franchise and whatnot. It's kind of my childhood right there. But the whole channel isn't really going to be based on Dragon Ball Z. Most videos probably will, but I definitely will branch off and do other things, like play other games, and other stuff like that. And if you don't want it to be Dragon Ball Z, then please just give me your feedback. Tell me anything else you guys would like to see, any other reviews and stuff like that, other than just Dragon Ball Z and whatnot. But yeah, I think that about wraps up for that question. Hopefully I gave him a good answer there. Alright, so this next question comes from Icefin, aka Death Kid, and he pretty much says, SilverSun, Dragon Ball Z or One Punch Man? And I don't know, that's pretty hard to pick. That's kind of like comparing SpongeBob to something like Gravity Falls or something like that, Dragon Ball Z is kind of like my childhood, kind of like SpongeBob is, in the Western kind of cartoon industry, whereas One Punch Man is kind of like Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls, in my opinion, definitely has a better story, better character. Well, I wouldn't say better characters and stuff like that. I guess it's just like with Dragon Ball Z, it has that nostalgia factor to it and whatnot. I guess if I had to take it apart, I guess I'd say animation for obviously One Punch Man and whatnot. The characters, I don't know. Goku's Goku and Vegeta's Vegeta, but I really do like Saitama and Genos, their little pair up there and whatnot, along with all the other heroes, and how just everything's structured and how they're kind of building up, the whole One Punch Man world and whatnot and stuff like that. But to say it as a whole and whatnot, it's a very tough pick there. I don't know if I could give you an honest answer there, but I'd probably have to go with Dragon Ball Z, just because it has a lot more content, a lot more characters, and a lot more world building and whatnot, lots of things in it and whatnot, something that One Punch Man, as of right now, doesn't really have at the moment and whatnot. But if we're talking about animation and whatnot, then definitely One Punch Man all the way. And he actually asked me a few more questions here, 3 more actually. The second one is Goku or Sonic? If we're talking in terms of powers and strength and fighting, if they were going head to head, Goku versus Sonic, that's a no-brainer right there. Goku, in my opinion. But if we're talking about their character and who they are and stuff like that, I don't know. Sometimes they do give a different portrayal of Goku, with the English dub and the Japanese dub. I kind of feel like there's a little bit of a difference there. Sonic's cool, no doubt about that and whatnot. He's a pretty cool character, but I don't know. In terms of power and strength and whatnot, I'd have to say Goku. But in terms of character and stuff like that, I'd probably have to say Sonic. He just I don't know, nowadays, at least in Dragon Ball Super, I feel like, at least in the Japanese dub, sometimes Goku, in my opinion, just seems a little bit slow, a little bit simple minded and whatnot. Whereas Sonic, I know they have like the whole new like Sonic Boom series and whatnot and stuff like that. I haven't really watched it, but I always like Sonic. I like his little, jokes that he throws in and stuff like that. He's a pretty cool character in my opinion, though obviously not as cool as Shadow. And this other question he asked, and this is a really tough one. I'm not sure if I can answer it. He says Invader Zim or Gravity Falls. Interestingly enough, I actually told this one YouTuber he was doing like requests or something like that, and I actually told him if he could do Invader Zim and Gravity Falls together as like some sort of crossover. I would love to see the two shows crossover and whatnot, having all the characters interact with one another. I think would be really amazing to see, for instance like Zim with Bill, or Gur with Mabel, or Dib with Dipper and whatnot. I think it'd really match up there, but I don't know. I mean, in terms of like characters and stuff like that, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the characters in Gravity Falls are a little bit more down to earth and whatnot, a little bit more realistic in terms of like personality and like what they do and how they act and whatnot. Whereas this Invader Zim, they're kind of like off the wall, kind of cartoonish and whatnot, and a little bit more hyperactive, you could say. I don't know, in terms of the world, I mean, like, both of them do have kind of, like, well, not really a mystery element, but, like, they do have, like, that disturbing imagery and creepiness factor to them and whatnot. I don't know, I mean, like, Gravity Falls did have, like, a lot of stuff in it that was kind of controversial and whatnot, especially in that, like, first episode and whatnot. Like, when I first saw it, I thought it was, like, some crazy, like, Illuminati type of stuff based off of seeing Bill from just the intro at the very end and whatnot. And it had lots of Easter eggs and whatnot in Gravity Falls. The only Easter egg I can recall in Invader Zim was when they showed like that whole Bloody Gert Easter egg and whatnot. Pretty much they weren't allowed to show it on the show and whatnot, show blood and everything like that. But here's the funny thing is that Gravity Falls was actually able to do that on Disney Channel, no less. Like, I always thought that in terms of like what they could get away with, I always thought it was like first would be like Cartoon Network, then Nickelodeon, then Disney. I thought Disney was like the really kiddie, like little kids kind of show, but stuff like Gravity Falls and stuff like that really, pushed that boundary. We saw blood like at least 2 times in the series. I remember in the season 1 finale, Dipper's nose was bleeding, and in Northwest Mansion Mystery, they were having blood like spill from like the animal heads and whatnot, which I thought was really crazy. But that's not to say that Invader Zim is without its creepy moments. Obviously, I'll like never forget the Dark Harvest episode where Zim went around collecting people's body parts and whatnot and using them as his own and stuff like that. That was like really crazy and just set in that creepy factor. But I'd have to say probably Gravity Falls, just because the characters in my opinion just seem a lot more fleshed out, and they have like more of a story in my opinion. I know Invader Zim is a comic book series now and whatnot. Not really sure how that's going, not really sure if they really changed anything up there. Also the worlds, like Gravity Falls, I mean obviously it's in Oregon and whatnot and stuff like that, and then Dipper and Mabel live in California and all that stuff. It has those real world type of places and whatnot. But Invader Zim, like, I don't know, like it was just kind of like creepy for the sake of being creepy in my opinion. Like, I mean, it definitely had like a lot of weird and strange moments, but I just felt like it didn't really have too much of a good story. Well, like, it had a good story, it had a good premise, with Zim trying to take over the world and whatnot, but him as a villain, I feel like wasn't like as close to Bill as was a villain, or possibly even, well, no, I'd say about him and Gideon were about the same in terms of evilness. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like, it was really, really funny to see him fail and mess up at his attempts and whatnot, and stuff like that. And it was pretty cool. It showed us that perspective by giving us the villain's kind of take on the whole situation, having the villain being the main character and whatnot. But I just have to give it to Gravity Falls just because I feel like the characters and world and just the stuff that they set up, like me waiting for the next episode to come out, and you know, just like being on the edge of your seat because of that mystery factor, all these like characters having their own backstories, you know, like A Tale of Two Stands came out and stuff like that. Not What He Seems came out, and there was that big cliffhanger and all that other craziness, which I feel like Invader Zim didn't really have and whatnot. And to be honest, I didn't really watch it too much as a kid, and I felt like it was obviously due to that creepy imagery and all that stuff, but it didn't really have too much of a purpose in my opinion, like in terms of story and whatnot. I felt like they just kind of threw it in there just because and whatnot. But long answer short, I just had to say Gravity Falls. And favorite color, I'm not really sure. I'd probably have to go with red for right now. I mean, it changes obviously and stuff like that every now and again, but for right now I'd have to go with red. And last but not least, this one guy, William Valentino, pretty much tells me, oh, face reveal now and whatnot. I'm sorry, bud, but maybe next, 9,000 subscribers. I'll probably do a face reveal then. As far as my name goes, I don't want to disclose, you know, my full name for obvious reasons, but I will give you guys my first and last name, which is Kevin Silver. So pretty much that's where I got the idea from, Silver Sun and whatnot, you know, use my last name and stuff like that. And I am a son, you know, of my dad obviously and whatnot. But yeah, my first name's Kevin, so if you guys want to call me by that, or Silver Sun, or just Sun, or Silver, or whatever you guys want to mix it up with. Yeah, but that's pretty much it for these questions. I was kind of surprised, hoping that there would be a little bit more, but for those that did comment and whatnot, I have to say that you guys are the true subscribers, the guys that listen, the guys that cares. You guys are the super Silver Sun subscribers. I don't know if I'm going to make that a thing or not. I'm just saying it for right now. Maybe I might bring it up later. Who knows? Maybe it could be foreshadowing and whatnot. Whatever. But yeah, seems like that's all the questions we have here. I might do another one sometime later. Who knows? Maybe if I get enough questions or enough feedback or whatever. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Lots of stuff to come later. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And until the next one, guys, Silver Sun, aka Kevin Silver, is out.